I want to introduce our guest anchor this morning, who is going to talk to us and give us the news. And this is none other than the Cabinet Secretary, Rafael Tuju, who is going to give us the news this morning. Rafael, good to see you. How are you?
Thank you, Dibal.
All right.
And this is the news. Migori Governor Okoth Obajo will spend 10 more nights in remand prison after he was denied bail. Obajo, personal assistant Michael Oyamo, together with Caspar Lobiero, who is a clerk for Migori County government, have been charged with the murder of Sharon Otieno early this month. During her 10-minute judgment, Justice Jesse Lesit ruled that the prosecution had compelling reason to have the accused detained further.
Compelling reasons include a consideration of the nature of the offense, the strength of the evidence which supports the charge, the gravity of the punishment in the event of conviction, the previous criminal record of the applicant, the probability that the accused may not present or surrender himself for trial, the likelihood of further charges being brought against the accused, the likelihood of the accused interfering with witnesses or may suppress any evidence that may incriminate him, the probability of finding the applicant guilty as charged, the detention for the protection of the accused, and the necessity to procure medical or social report pending final disposal of the case. Opposition to granting of bail is not a violation of that right. That is why the Constitution uses the words "unless there are compelling reasons." That puts a duty on the prosecution to place before the court any evidence they may have on compelling reasons for consideration by the court.
Detectives questioned TV journalist Jackie Maribe, the fiancée of the main suspect in the murder of Monica Kimani. Investigations into her death are centralized at her apartment, which was the scene of crime, and a vehicle believed to have been used by the suspect on the day of the murder. While this was taking place in Nairobi, in neighboring Kiambu County, friends and family gathered to celebrate the life as they urged the relevant authorities to be swift in their investigations to ensure that justice is served. A section of leaders from the North Rift now want the Narok County Commissioner to be transferred following his handling of the violence that has rocked the South Rift region and to a great extent Narok. This even as the National Cohesion and Integration Commission issued a warning to Narok Senator Ledama Olekina to desist from further inciting public utterances over the Mao.
Hakuna mambo mimi nasema tofauti ambayo ni mkubwa wangu amesema. Vila amesema tutatekeleza 100%. Tumeelewana?
Once again, the Narok County Commissioner George Natembeya has come under criticism over his handling of the ethnic clashes in his jurisdiction, with the latest being Olposimoru.
We are also calling for immediate transfer of Narok County Commissioner George Natembeya and a total overhaul of security team in Narok for having taken sides in the recent skirmishes.
Tunawacha vijana ambao wako na mishale, ambayo tunaona kwa video vijana wako na mishale na mikuki, na kuwaendea vijana ambao ni chini ya miaka 18 na kuwashika ambao hawana chochote. Unashindwa serikali inalenga macho yake wapi?
They have been burning houses in Olposimoru towards Olenguruoni, and they are aided by the security forces from Narok, led by the Narok County Commissioner George Natembeya. He is another hypocrite.
This development coming in the wake of revelations that some influential persons, among them politicians, were being pursued as suspects in the recent violence.
We want to get people and hold them responsible for this kind of behaviors because we want to put an end to this culture of impunity where people would meet, plan these activities, cause havoc, and then like nothing happens.
The National Cohesion and Integration Commission has since weighed in on the matter, ordering Narok Senator Ledama Olekina to stop making utterances and actions that would likely affect the harmonious and peaceful coexistence of communities around the Mau Forest.
If I was a leader myself in that area, I would do three things. One, I would bring to the attention of these people the reality. that this land is forest land. There is nothing you can do about it. You cannot deplete forest land. We will all not have water.
While government officials on the ground say the violence being witnessed in the South Rift should be treated as a security issue, the recent Mau evictions seem to be an underlying factor in the latest developments. Bridget Ngana, NTV.
Environment and Forestry CS Kereko Tobiko says a statement by North Rift MPs on the Mau clashes that adversely mentioned him is an orchestrated effort to try and intimidate him and other government officers from performing their duties. Tobiko says he finds it rather convenient that the skirmishes started just as the government was about to start the second phase of evictions. Tobiko says the clashes have likely been instigated by those who plan to derail or frustrate the second phase of evictions. He asserts that the evictions will proceed as scheduled. The current high cost of living has seen a lot of Kenyans directing their anger to whatever President Uhuru Kenyatta says, whether offline or online. President Kenyatta's social media accounts are full of angry reactions from citizens who have turned the president into a punching bag on which to release their bile and anger. Well, we sampled some of the views from across sections of Kenyans across the country and across the counties on President Kenyatta's regime.
Uhuru na Ruto ama serikali ya Jubilee inafaa kwanza kabisa iangalie mwananchi wa kawaida. Tuko chini sana. Biashara hakuna. Chakula ndio hiyo hakuna. Ni sio kuzuri. Tunang'ang'ana sana.
Sioni project yote saa hii. Upande wa county government hakuna, upande wa serikali saa hii hakuna. Hata afadhali tamu ya kwanza ilikuwa ni afadhali, tamu ya pili hakuna chochote.
The president is going out with his colleagues, spending our money with trips that are not constructive to the country. They have to limit the trips.
The government is not doing something good. Even if we look at the parliament, they don't really discuss things that may favor us, but they discuss things that favor themselves, you know.
Jaribu kufanya comparison na ile hali ya kidunia vile ina move, tunaona hali ya kwamba imecheza hali nyingine nzuri sana, na tunaomba hata zile serikali nyingine ambazo zitakuwa zimekuja siku za usoni zijaribu kuiga, kwa sababu si rahisi mpaka pale wamefika.
Uongozi naona ukiendelea vyema. Manake kama mnataka kuendelea mbele lazima pia nanyi mgaramike pande ingine.
Kukopa wamekopa zaidi. Mpaka sasa gharama ya maisha ya mwananchi wa kawaida inazidi kuongezeka. Wananchi wengi sasa wanjiko hajimudu.
It wasn't me, said the artist known as Shaggy in a song that purportedly sought to advise on what one should say when caught red-handed in a compromising situation. It is advised that Nairobi MCAs who orchestrated Speaker Elachi's removal from office took to heart when they appeared before their Powers and Privileges Committee yesterday. But did they sell it? NTV's Olive Barrows reviews their performance.
Mimi nilikuwa naona ndimu. Mimi hakuna kitu niliona. Maybe kama wale wengine waliingia waka misbehave, hiyo ni mbaya. Hata mimi siwezi taka kitu kama hiyo.
There was no scuffle, there was no fight, and we had only one mission: to peacefully go and inform Madam Elachi that she is a stranger and we are uncomfortable with a stranger sitting on the Speaker's office. Peacefully until she removed the pepper spray and pepper sprayed us, thus provoking a commotion. And the commotion, if any, was for people scampering for their dear lives. One of the reasons why we do not allow strangers is for security reasons. And true to that thing, Beatrice Elachi pepper sprayed members of this assembly. She became a security threat to this assembly, And I actually am in the process of writing a petition that we should even be more strict when allowing strangers and members of this assembly to enter.
Pengine nipate mtu anaweza nitetea, sababu unaona mimi kutoka hiyo siku macho yangu mimi ni mgonjwa. Mimi naona tu wacha iende hivyo, na kunaweza tokea good Samaritans wanitetee kotini, haki itendeke.
Kenyan athletes who engage in doping do it in an uncoordinated and sophisticated and opportunistic way, and it was not institutionalized, according to a World Anti-Doping Agency report into the practice on the East African nation released on Thursday. The WADA report also said that between 2004 and August, 1,138 Kenyan athletes had tested positive for prohibited substances, 113 of them during competitions. Kenya's traditional excellence in middle and long distance running has been marred by doping cases involving its elite athletes. In 2017, officials estimated the number of positive cases at between 49 and 52 within the previous 4 years. WADA threatened Kenya with sanctions in 2016 that could have meant exclusion from the Rio Olympic Games. Kenya subsequently enacted legislation that outlawed doping in sports with a penalty of up to 3 million Kenya shillings, about $29,000, and 3 years in jail for anyone convicted. In August, a WADA-accredited laboratory was launched in Nairobi in a big step against doping in the country.
And only becomes apparent when performance level becomes subject to testing.
Their conclusions, which we share, is that there isn't an institutionalised regime of doping in Kenya, like there might have been in Russia, of course, but that the doping situation in Kenya is unstructured. There's a black market for doping products because of the money involved in doping, and of course that Kenya is a very high-risk country for doping.
Last year alone we conducted over 1,155 tests. This year we have targeted 1,500 this financial year. And more so also because of the new approach, intelligence and investigations. Most of these tests will be targeted, not random in terms of numbers, but targeted towards getting those who are bound to be cheating.
And that's morning news. Have a good day.
Right, Rafael Tuju. It's been a while. Good job.
Well, with a bit of practice, I could apply for
it. Oh, yeah. After a long while, you've done perfectly well.
Well,
perfectly well. I can see the voice is still there, the presence is still there, the diction is still there. So all the checks, all the boxes are ticking out for you this morning.
It's more than 20 years.
More than 20 years. Wow, wow. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. And I know our fellow panelists also will be judging you this morning, how you fared after you've been off the screen for a while.
Well,
but good job. And you've woken up well. At least now you get to wake up in the morning. You see what we do here.
Well, I wake up quite early, actually.
You do, yeah?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic. Fantastic.